So imagine, just for a second, handing over your entire life savings to an absolute stranger.
I mean, that sounds like an absolute nightmare right off the bat.
Right, it does. But imagine you do it, and then you watch that money double.
Or even triple.
Exactly, triple, right there on this, beautifully designed, highly technical app on your phone.
Yeah, and you probably feel like an absolute genius.
You really do. You feel like, well, like you're finally ahead of the curve, like you're beating the system.
Right.
And then one morning, you decide to withdraw just a little bit of that money, maybe to pay a bill or just to test it out.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
And suddenly you realize the app is essentially a video game.
Oh, man.
Yeah. The numbers on the screen are entirely fake.
Yeah.
And your actual, hard-earned money, it was gone the very second you hit send.
It is just a devastating, terrifying realization.
It really is.
And the most alarming part is that it's happening to incredibly smart, cautious people, like thousands of times a day all over the world.
Yeah, we are definitely living through an era where the line between a legitimate technological breakthrough and a catastrophic financial trap has been all but erased.
Absolutely erased.
Which is exactly why we're pulling apart today's material. We are diving into a comprehensive breakdown of today's source material, which is an excerpt titled Day 36 Crypto and Investment Scams 2.0.
A very fitting title, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. So our mission for this deep dive isn't just to, tell you that scams exist. I mean, we all know there are bad actors out there.
Right. That's not exactly breaking news.
Exactly. Our goal is to deconstruct the actual machinery of the trap. We're going to look at how these intricate, multi-layered systems are engineered step by agonizing step to just completely bypass your critical thinking.
Because frankly, understanding the gears of the machine is your only real defense.
Right.
If you don't know how the trap is built, you won't recognize it when you're standing right in the middle of it.
So true.
And the architecture we're dealing with today is fundamentally different from anything we saw, say, a decade ago. It's essentially weaponized psychology.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because there's a core thesis running through all the data we're looking at today. And it lays out this brutal mathematical reality for the modern digital age.
Yeah, it's a very simple rule, really.
Right. Guaranteed profit equals guaranteed fraud.
That is the immovable bedrock of our entire discussion today.
Yeah.
In financial markets, risk and reward are, well, they're inextricably linked.
Right. You can't have one without the other.
Exactly. The moment someone attempts to decouple them, the moment they promise you the reward without the risk, they are lying to you.
And the way they deliver that lie has undergone this massive evolutionary leap. We're definitely no longer dealing with the old playbook here.
No, not at all.
Like, if you think of a scammer as someone who steals a one-time password or makes a frantic fake phone call pretending to be the IRS or your bank.
Right, the classic pay us in gift cards or you're going to jail routine.
Exactly. If that's what you're picturing, you're thinking of Scams 1.0.
Yeah.
This new version, Scams 2.0, encompasses fake crypto platforms, AI trading bots, highly orchestrated Telegram investment groups, and these elaborate guaranteed return ecosystems.
And the shift from 1.0 to 2.0 is structural. It's huge.
How so?
Well, those older scams, the blunt force OTP thefts, they were essentially numbers games based entirely on panic.
Right.
They relied on startling you. They'd call and say, your account is compromised, give me this code right now or you lose everything.
Right. It was all about creating that split-second window where your fear just overrides your logic.
Exactly. But Scams 2.0 operate on the exact opposite principle. They are incredibly patient.
Patient.
Yeah. They don't want to startle you. They want to groom you.
Wow.
They build these sophisticated, immersive environments designed to cultivate a deep, enduring trust over days, weeks, or even months.
And they're very specific about who they spend that time grooming.
Oh, entirely.
The data in the source highlights a very clear target demographic. We're talking about middle class, salaried employees, students, small business owners, housewives, and people who are looking to make their very first investments.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to ask why those specific groups are constantly in the crosshairs.
Right. Why them specifically?
It's because these are populations fundamentally aspiring for stability and growth, but who generally lack access to, high-end institutional financial advisors.
That makes a lot of sense. Like a salaried employee is feeling the relentless pinch of inflation right now.
Exactly. And students are staring down mountains of debt.
Right. Small business owners need better margins, and housewives are often looking for ways to generate independent income from home.
They all have ambition, and they all have a little bit of capital, but they are locked out of those elite financial circles.
So there's a gap.
Yes, that gap, the space between ambition and insider access, is exactly where these new syndicates set up their operations.
And the way they present themselves in that gap is, honestly, it's chilling.
It really is.
Because scammers today operate with the illusion of ultimate, unassailable professionalism. They don't look like guys in a basement in hoodies anymore.
Right, the hacker stereotype is dead.
Yeah, they look like slick, suit-wearing mentors. They use luxury lifestyle videos, sophisticated trading dashboards, and they throw around buzzwords like artificial intelligence to build immediate authority.
What's fascinating here is that they have completely weaponized the visual aesthetics of success.
It's like taking a guy who used to, I don't know, pickpocket you on the subway.
Yeah.
But today, that same guy is wearing a tailored Tom Ford suit. He's rented out a glass-walled corner office in a high-rise, and he's opened a completely fake bank branch.
That's a perfect analogy. The underlying crime, taking your money, hasn't changed at all.
Right.
But the delivery mechanism has had this billion-dollar corporate makeover.
But wait a minute. If these guys look so incredibly professional, I mean, if they have the suits, the complex dashboards, the cars, how are we supposed to tell them apart from actual legitimate financial advisors?
That is the absolute genius of the trap.
Right. Like, if a fake dashboard looks exactly like a real one, what is the defense?
Well, the scary truth is you often can't tell the difference just by looking at the surface layer,
Wow.
because the scammer understands human neurobiology better than most of us do.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
When your brain sees the luxury car and the complex financial charts, it wants to save energy. It doesn't want to do the hard, caloric work of verifying credentials.
Right, we're naturally lazy.
Exactly. So it relies on a heuristic, a mental shortcut. It automatically categorizes that person as trustworthy and an expert.
Oh, man. So the scammer doesn't actually have to prove their expertise to you at all.
Nope, they just have to wear the uniform of success, and your own brain does the heavy lifting of trusting them.
So we basically scam ourselves by trusting our assumptions. We assume a guy driving a McLaren must know the secret to making money, so we just drop our guard.
Precisely. But, that visual manipulation, the suit and tie masquerade, that's just the bait.
Right.
It's just the shiny object to get you to stop scrolling. The actual machinery that separates you from your money is the digital ecosystem they pull you into.
And that brings us directly to the mechanics of the Telegram and WhatsApp investment groups mentioned in the source.
Yes, this is where it gets really methodical.
There is a wildly pervasive ecosystem living inside messaging apps right now. And the entry point is usually pretty innocuous, right?
Yeah, very casual.
You get a random message on WhatsApp or Telegram, or maybe you clicked an ad on Instagram, and the message is just an invitation to join a VIP crypto group.
Right.
But the promises they make in this initial contact are insane, yet they're highly specific. They don't just say make money.
No, they give you numbers.
Exactly. They say turn $500 into $5,000. They promise daily guaranteed signals and insider trading tips.
Look at the vocabulary they are deploying there. VIP, guaranteed, insider.
Yeah, it's very deliberate.
These aren't just words, they're psychological hooks. They are carefully chosen to make the recipient feel special.
To make them feel like they're finally being granted access to an exclusive club that the rest of the world is locked out of.
Exactly. It plays perfectly into that middle-class aspiration to find a shortcut to wealth.
So out of curiosity, you click the link, you join the group, and the moment you are inside this staged environment, it's just this overwhelming sensory experience.
It's designed to flood your senses.
You instantly see that there are thousands of members in the group, and the chat is just flying. It's a nonstop 247 feed of profit screenshots being shared.
Just green arrows everywhere.
Right. Alongside these screenshots are these highly scripted messages, people constantly typing, "Thank you, sir, my life has changed," followed by heart emojis and prayer hands.
It's a very specific aesthetic.
It is. And presiding over all of this is the admin, the quote-unquote expert trader, who is benevolently guiding everyone to riches.
This is where we see the illusion of the crowd in full effect. And it is arguably the most powerful psychological weapon in their entire arsenal.
Because we're herd animals.
At our core, yes. Humans are biologically wired to look to the group to determine what is safe and what is dangerous. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism.
Oh, like the Ash conformity experiments, where if everyone else in the room says the sky is green, you eventually start doubting your own eyes.
Exactly that. When a victim enters one of these Telegram groups, their natural skepticism might initially be very high. They might think, well, this is probably a scam.
Right, you'd be on guard.
But then they see 10,000 people seemingly succeeding. They see a relentless, endless stream of gratitude and green profit graphs.
And it just wears them down.
Under that barrage, individual skepticism is completely crushed by social proof. The internal monologue shifts from, this is a scam, to 10,000 people can't all be wrong.
If I don't participate, I am the idiot who is missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime.
Precisely.
But the reality is, it's an entirely artificial reality. Almost everything in that room is fake.
Almost all of it.
The members are bots. They're just automated Python scripts designed to generate thousands of fake interactions per minute.
Yeah.
The screenshots are fabricated in Photoshop.
Yeah.
To the victim, it feels like they've stumbled onto the floor of a bustling, incredibly lucrative stock exchange where everyone is winning. But in truth, they are standing in an empty room full of mannequins.
It is a digital movie set, and the victim is the only real, breathing human being in the entire scene.
Wow. Okay, so you're in the group, your brain has accepted the illusion of the crowd, and the real game begins. The trap mechanics here are so methodical.
They step by step.
Right. Step one, the admin reaches out and asks for a small initial investment. Nothing crazy. They say, just put in $50 to test the system.
Because they want an amount that falls below your threshold of anxiety.
Right.
We're willing to risk $50 just to see what happens.
So you make the transfer. Step two, they give you a login to their proprietary platform. You open the dashboard, and suddenly you see your $50 has magically grown to $80 in a matter of hours.
And right there, the trap is sprung. Because that visual, seeing your money grow effortlessly on a sleek interface, it triggers a massive dopamine rush.
Which brings us to step three. The victim is now excited. They feel smart. They feel validated by the system.
They feel like they won.
Exactly. And this is exactly when the scammer strikes. They message the victim directly, urging them to join a higher VIP tier for massive profits. And they inject this massive dose of urgency, right?
Oh yeah, this is the last chance before the market pumps. We need $10,000 by tonight to secure your position.
The hook is set. The victim has tasted the fake profit.
The greed centers of the brain are fully activated, which physically suppresses the rational prefrontal cortex. Logic is gone. Emotion is driving the car.
So the victim hits step four. They invest more, substantially more. They drain their savings.
Which inevitably leads to step 5.
The collapse.
Right.
A few weeks later, the victim decides they want to withdraw their massive, life-changing profits. Maybe to buy a house or pay off debt. But the withdrawal is blocked. The system just throws an error code.
And here is where the true cruelty of Scams 2.0 reveals itself. They don't just deny the withdrawal and run away.
Well,
They initiate a secondary extortion phase.
right. The admin messages them and says, congratulations on your profits. But before we can release the funds, you need to pay a 15% tax fee directly to this wallet.
Yeah.
Or they claim there are verification charges, or they say the account has been flagged for suspicious activity and requires a clearance deposit.
Because they know they already have the victim's core capital, but they want to squeeze every last drop of desperation out of them.
Yeah.
They're weaponizing the victim's own hope against them.
And finally, step 6. Once the victim refuses to pay or simply runs out of money to borrow, the illusion completely shatters.
It just disappears.
The Telegram group vanishes. The admin blocks the victim's number. The proprietary trading website goes dead. Poof! Everything is gone without a single trace.
It is a devastatingly efficient life cycle of fraud. From the initial lure to the final extraction, every single step is optimized for psychological manipulation.
I think what makes this so insidious is the technology of the dashboard itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's talk about how these fake interfaces are built, because it literally turns a financial scam into a video game.
It really does.
I was looking into this, and it's crazy how easy it is for these syndicates to spin up a front-end web application. They use standard frameworks, they pipe in real-time API data from legitimate exchanges like Binance or Coinbase to make the background charts look completely real and dynamic.
You're right, the market data is real.
But the specific variable that represents the victim's balance, that is just hard-coded to increment upwards by 5% every single day.
That's a crucial technical point, honestly.
Yeah.
The victim is looking at a screen with real-world market data moving in real time, which lends immense credibility to the whole thing. But their personal portfolio balance is completely disconnected from that reality.
They're completely fake.
It's just a script program to go up.
Right. Like when you play a video game, you perform an action, the score goes up, and you get a little dopamine hit.
Exactly.
These scammers have gamified the act of being robbed. The numbers on the screen only go up, the green arrows keep pointing higher, and it completely blinds the user to the reality that their actual money left their bank account weeks ago and is currently sitting in a criminal's offshore wallet.
The dashboard is the matrix. It is a fabricated reality designed to keep the victim docile and compliant while their pockets are being picked in the real world.
Now, it is really easy for us to sit here, read through these 6 steps, and think, come on, I would never fall for that. It is so obvious when you lay it out.
Everyone thinks they're immune.
Right. But to truly understand the sheer gravity of this trap, we have to pull it out of the abstract. We need to look at how this systematically dismantles a real person's life.
Yes. Let's look at a case study, because this is where the spiral mechanics we just discussed become agonizingly real. Let's talk about Ramesh from the source.
Ramesh is a textbook example of the demographic we're talking about. He's a middle-class employee.
Right.
He works incredibly hard. He lives within his means. And over the years, he has managed to save a modest amount of money from his monthly salary.
He's not greedy.
No, he's not looking to buy a yacht or private island. He's just trying to build a bit of a safety net, maybe dream of a slightly better life for his family.
He is the everyman. He perfectly represents millions of people who are trying to do the right thing with their savings, but feel like traditional banking isn't giving them any real yield.
Exactly. So here comes the hook. One day, Ramesh is scrolling, and he finds an invitation to a Telegram crypto group.
And we know how those look.
Yeah, and just like we described, this group is an absolute masterclass in sensory manipulation. It is flooded with pictures of luxury cars, videos of people partying in Dubai, and a constant thumping drumbeat of daily earnings posts from people claiming to be making fortunes while they sleep.
The visual vocabulary of success is completely overwhelming his senses. He's seeing exactly what he wants his life to look like.
But Ramesh is smart. He's cautious. He doesn't go all in immediately.
Right, he tests it.
He decides to test the waters. He takes $50 from his savings and invests it. And then the system goes to work. Within just 3 days, he logs into his beautifully designed dashboard, and his $50 has supposedly grown to $85.
The video game score went up, the dopamine is released.
Yeah.
But Ramesh is still a skeptic. He wants proof.
Right. And this is the crucial turning point. This is the moment the trap truly snaps shut. Ramesh wants to see if this is actually real. He initiates a withdrawal request to see if he can get his money out. And surprisingly, it works. Within hours, he successfully receives $20 back into his actual real-world bank account.
And right there, in that exact second, is the most dangerous moment in the entire narrative.
Wait, hold on. If these guys are criminals, if their entire singular goal is to steal every penny they can get their hands on, why on earth did they actually give him $20 back?
Yeah, it seems weird, right?
Aren't they just bleeding their own money at that point? It seems completely counterproductive to being a thief.
That is the brilliant evil psychology of scams 2.0. What's fascinating here is that the $20 isn't a loss for the scammer.
It's not.
No, they view it as a marketing budget. It is an investment in the ultimate psychological lock. Think about Ramesh's mindset in that moment. He had doubts, he tested the system, and the system didn't just show him numbers on a screen, it paid him actual spendable cash.
So it proved itself.
Exactly, and in that exact moment, his critical thinking doesn't just lower, it completely evaporates. Giving a little money back completely disarms the victim's defenses. It's the sprat-to-catch-a-mackerel technique. The scammer knows that if they hand back $20 today, the victim's trust will be so utterly solidified that they will return tomorrow with 100 times that amount.
That is wild.
Yeah.
It's basically the scammer proving to the victim that they are honest precisely so they can rob them blind later.
Yes.
It's terrifying because it uses the victim's own logic against them. Like, if I can withdraw it, it must be safe.
It is the ultimate Trojan horse. They let you win the first hand, so you'll bet the house on the second.
And the escalation happens exactly as you'd expect. Driven by this completely false sense of trust, Ramesh goes all in. The cautious, methodical man vanishes.
He's hooked.
He braces fixed-term savings accounts. He goes to the bank and takes out a high-interest personal loan. He gathers up his entire family's life savings, and he pours it all into the platform, investing a massive total of nearly $50,000.
The trap has fully closed. The marketing budget paid off exponentially.
And then the inevitable collapse. A month later, Ramesh tries to log in, and the website simply times out. The server cannot be found.
Gone.
He frantically goes to Telegram, and the VIP group is vanished into thin air. He tries to contact the expert trader who was mentoring him, and the number is disconnected. The money is just, well, it's gone.
And we really have to pause here to acknowledge the true cost because it extends far beyond the balance sheet.
It does.
The aftermath for Ramesh isn't just a depleted bank account. He loses his money, yes, but he suffers immense mental stress.
Right.
He is drowning in cognitive dissonance and shame because he lost his family's future. He faces massive pressure at home. This raises an important question about the non-financial consequences of these syndicates.
Yeah, the fallout is huge.
The psychological destruction, the profound shame, it ruins lives just as surely as the financial ruin. And tragically, that shame is exactly what the scammers rely on to insulate themselves.
How so?
They know victims will be too embarrassed to report the crime quickly.
Wow. So the scammer steals the money and leaves the victim holding all the guilt.
Exactly.
It is a brutal, predatory dynamic. Now, Ramesh fell for the allure of a crypto group. Crypto has been the shiny object for a while.
Oh, definitely.
But there's an even newer, even shinier buzzword that scammers are weaponizing right now to bypass our logic. A phrase that seems to short-circuit the modern brain entirely: artificial intelligence.
Ah, yes. The AI illusion. This is where Scams 2.0 truly leverage the current cultural zeitgeist.
It is everywhere. Scammers are plastering the term artificial intelligence across every fake platform to generate instant, almost reverent trust.
Oh, yeah, they throw it on everything.
They use these aggressive buzzwords: AI auto-trading bots, machine learning algorithmic profits. They promise 99% accuracy and, most absurdly, a zero-risk, zero-loss strategy.
A zero-loss strategy in financial markets is a mathematical impossibility. It defies the laws of economics.
Right.
But if you put the letters A and I in front of it, people suddenly believe the laws of physics have been suspended.
But the reality is entirely hollow. There is no real AI. None.
None at all.
There is no neural network. There is no predictive large language model crunching real-time market data to execute high-frequency trades. It is nothing but dummy websites, fake apps, and at its core, a simple, old-school Ponzi scheme dressed up in a futuristic sci-fi costume.
The technology they are selling is entirely fictional.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is that while generative AI, like the tools we use to write emails or generate images, is advancing rapidly, predictive financial modeling is an entirely different beast.
It's incredibly hard.
Wall Street firms spend billions of dollars on supercomputers just to get a microscopic edge in the market. A random guy on Telegram does not have a magical AI bot that guarantees wealth.
Right.
But scammers exploit that massive gap in public understanding.
And the tactics they use to sell this fiction are incredibly aggressive. They show fake graphs that look highly technical. They utilize deep fakes or unauthorized photos of celebrities and tech magnates like Elon Musk or local billionaires to imply endorsement.
Yeah, you see those everywhere.
They generate fake news articles that look exactly like Bloomberg or Forbes. And dangerously, some of these fake apps actually manage to bypass security and make it onto the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, which lends them a massive, unearned halo of legitimacy.
That is a critical vector for trust, because if it is on the official App Store, the user inherently assumes that Apple or Google has thoroughly vetted the code and the company.
But how do they actually do that? How does a criminal syndicate get a malicious scam app past the security reviews of the biggest tech companies in the world?
It's a classic bait and switch.
Okay, walk me through it.
The scammers submit a completely benign application for review. They might submit a simple calculator app or a basic puzzle game.
Oh, wow.
The automated security checks look at the code, see no malicious malware, and approve it. But once the app is live on the store, the scammers push a server-side update.
They change it.
They remotely change the entire user interface and back-end functionality, transforming that simple calculator into a fake, highly sophisticated crypto trading platform.
That is terrifying.
By the time the App Store catches on and removes it weeks later, thousands of people have already downloaded it and deposited funds. The platform's credibility is entirely hijacked by the scammer.
The way I see it, the term AI in these scams functions exactly like magic fairy dust.
Pretty much.
People hear artificial intelligence. And because the vast majority of us have no idea how machine learning actually works under the hood, We just assume it is capable of doing the absolute impossible.
We treat it like magic.
Right. We think, well, I don't understand the math, but it's computers, it's the future, so it must be able to generate risk-free wealth while I sleep. We treat it like literal magic.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the victim's underlying logic is perfectly summarized. The technology is so advanced this can't possibly be a scam.
Yeah.
They are placing their faith in the abstract idea of technological progress, but the profound insight here is that the scam doesn't run on technology. It never has.
What does it run on?
It runs on human greed and human trust. The AI buzzwords, the fake dashboards, the deep fakes, they are just the modern-day equivalent of the wizard's curtain.
It's all smoke and mirrors. Which begs a massive question. So, if there is no real AI crunching numbers, and there is absolutely no real crypto trading happening on the back end of these platforms, what is actually powering the numbers?
That is the real question.
Like when Ramesh got his $20 back, where did that physical money come from? This leads us directly into the underlying engine in the basement of the scam.
We need to dissect the math. And to do that, we have to confront the most dangerous word in the entire investment vocabulary.
The word is guaranteed.
Yes.
The reality of real investing is that it always involves market risk. Profits are never fixed. Even the absolute best financial experts on Wall Street face massive losses.
Oh, constantly.
So promises like daily 5% fixed return or double your money monthly or 100% safe are massive, blinding, neon danger signals.
The moment you hear the phrase guaranteed return, you should physically walk away, because a guaranteed high return without risk fundamentally breaks the foundational laws of economics.
So how are they making it look like they are delivering on these guarantees, at least initially? The underlying engine here is a classic, centuries-old Ponzi scheme.
Yep, a good old Charles Ponzi.
The fundamental rule of a Ponzi is that no real profit is ever generated. No product is sold. No asset is actually traded on any market. Instead, the old investors are paid out using the exact money that was just deposited by the new investor.
It is a closed loop of theft. It's financial cannibalism.
Let's walk through the math to see exactly how this burn rate works. Let's say 10 people join the Telegram group, and they each invest $1,000.
Okay.
That creates a total pool of $10,000. The scammer takes that $10,000. Now, to keep the illusion going and make people believe the AI bot is working, the scammer takes a tiny fraction of that money, say $50, and gives it back to the older users as a profit payout, just like what happened to Ramesh.
Right. And the singular purpose of giving that small profit back is to incentivize those older users to recruit more people into the system.
Right.
It turns the victims into a decentralized marketing team.
Because everyone involved now truly believes the system is genuine. They saw the money hit their actual bank account. They start telling their friends, their family, their coworkers.
Doing the scammer's job for them?
But behind the curtain, there is no real business. There's no trading. There's just a guy moving Peter's money to pay Paul.
And here is the mathematical inevitability of the Ponzi structure, the collapse.
It has to happen.
The system can only survive, it can only maintain the illusion of being solvent, as long as an ever-increasing exponential number of new people join and deposit fresh capital.
Because if you promise a 5% daily return, your liabilities are compounding at an insane rate.
Exactly. The math breaks incredibly fast. The moment the influx of new investors decreases, or the moment a large number of people try to request withdrawals at the same time, perhaps because of a holiday or an economic downturn, the scam completely collapses.
It just folds.
The operators realize the pool is drying up, they vanished with the bulk of the capital, and the vast majority of the people at the bottom of the pyramid lose absolutely everything.
So what does this all mean when you look at the human element? It means that those people in the Telegram group, the ones furiously typing "thank you, sir" and bragging about their daily profits, they might not all be bots.
That's right.
Some of them might actually be real victims who are currently getting the early payouts and just haven't realized yet that they are the foundational bricks of a collapsing pyramid. They are unwittingly acting as recruiters for their own eventual financial destruction.
That is the most tragic aspect of the Ponzi structure. It turns victims into accomplices before it destroys them.
Wow.
And the system is mathematically fragile. It must collapse. It is a mathematical certainty. The very nature of a guaranteed daily return is exactly what creates an unsustainable burn rate, requiring a constant panic influx of new victims just to keep the lights on.
And to keep that vital influx of new victims coming, to keep feeding the machine before it implodes, The scammers have to rely on a very specific set of emotional triggers.
Yes.
They can't rely on logic, so they have to hack the user's psychology.
They have a highly refined psychological toolkit designed to bypass your rational defenses.
Let's break down that toolkit, because the source material points out 4 main psychological pillars they rely on. The first is FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Oh, FOMO is huge.
They blast messages like, last chance to join the VIP pool, or insider crypto pump incoming in 1 hour. This is designed entirely to force the victim to invest immediately without taking a breath to think or consult someone.
FOMO is incredibly powerful because it targets the amygdala, the primitive fear center of the brain. You aren't just looking at gaining an opportunity, you are terrified of being left behind while everyone else in your social circle gets rich.
Right.
It's an evolutionary fear of being ostracized from the successful herd.
The second trick is fake success. This is the visual manipulation we talked about. The rented luxury cars, the fake glass offices, the heavily edited screenshots of bank balances.
Establishing false authority to short-circuit your skepticism.
The third is social proof. The thousands of group members. Seeing a real person post, "I just paid off my mortgage thanks to this AI bot," bypasses our individual logic and replaces it with the logic of the crowd.
If the group says it is safe, the brain accepts it as safe.
And the fourth trick is urgency. Messages saying, offer only valid for the next 10 minutes.
A classic sales tactic.
Right. The reason they do this is simple.
Huh.
It ensures the victim simply does not have the physical time to go to Google, do independent research, or ask a financially literate friend for advice.
What's fascinating here is that if you look at all 4 of these tricks, FOMO, fake success, social proof, urgency, none of them target logic.
No.
They are entirely emotional assaults. Urgency and FOMO in particular are designed to physically alter how your brain is processing information.
How does that work?
When you are panicked about a closing window of opportunity, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thought, planning, and skepticism, essentially shuts down. You are reacting entirely on instinct and emotion. The scammers are literally hacking your neurology.
So with that in mind, there is a critical list of red flags. These are the physical symptoms of that psychological attack.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to ask everyone listening right now to do a quick mental audit of your own recent online interactions.
That's really a good idea.
Look at your direct messages. Look at the ads you clicked this week. Have you encountered any of these? Guaranteed returns. Immense pressure to earn referral income by bringing in friends.
Yep.
Investments involving completely unknown, obscure crypto coins that aren't listed on major exchanges. Suspicious issues or delays when trying to withdraw your own money. Customer support that only exists as an anonymous chat on Telegram.
All red flags.
Promises of totally unrealistic profits, offers of daily fixed income, or claims that they have a secret algorithm that the banks don't want you to know about.
If you see any of those, you are not looking at an innovative financial product. You are looking at the jaws of a trap. Those aren't aggressive marketing tactics. They are the neon warning signs of fraud.
But let's pivot to the harsh, practical reality. We've talked deeply about how the trap works. But what happens when the trap snaps shut on someone? What is the actual reality of investing, and what are the precise mechanical steps a victim needs to take when the worst happens?
This is the most crucial part of the discussion, because understanding the illusion requires understanding the reality it is trying to mimic.
The reality of real investing is not glamorous. True wealth generation is slow. It is inherently risky. It is a long journey full of stressful ups and downs, bear markets and bull markets.
Exactly.
Genuine financial experts will never, ever give you a 100% guarantee, and they will never promise a fixed daily profit. The golden rule applies. If it seems too good to be true, it is, almost without exception, a scam.
Real wealth generation is a marathon, not a sprint powered by a secret algorithm.
But if someone has sprinted into a trap, there are very specific action steps for damage control. And the very first step is the most important. Immediately stop sending money.
Which sounds incredibly obvious to anyone sitting on the outside, but in the moment when you are the victim, it is psychologically agonizing.
Let's talk about why it's so agonizing, because I know how counterintuitive it can feel to a victim. You've put $50,000 in, your life savings.
Yeah.
They tell you that your account is frozen, and you just need to pay a $5,000 tax fee to release your $150,000 in profits. The victim is desperate. They want to believe the money is real.
And of course they do.
So they end up throwing good money after bad in a desperate panic bid to just get their original investment back. It feels like if they just pay one more fee, the nightmare will end.
This is the sunk cost fallacy operating at maximum devastation. The victim's brain refuses to accept the total loss. The cognitive dissonance of admitting you've been fooled out of your life savings is too painful to bear.
It's just too much.
So the brain rationalizes that spending a little more is the only logical way to save what is already gone. But the mechanical reality is the original money is already gone. Any new money sent is just a bonus for the scammer. You cannot buy your way out of a scam.
So, step 1, stop the bleeding. Do not send another dime. Step 2, save absolutely all evidence. Do not delete the Telegram chats in a fit of anger. Take screenshots of everything.
Everything.
Save the transaction IDs from your bank, note down the specific crypto wallet addresses you sent funds to, and collect all your relevant bank statements.
You are building a crime scene dossier. Because the authorities cannot act without a paper trail, and the scammers will delete their side of the chat the moment they realize you're onto them.
Step 3, report the crime immediately. Use your national cybercrime portal, physically go to the local cyber police station, and urgently contact your bank's fraud department. And reporting quickly is absolutely vital. We need to talk about how the money laundering actually works to understand why speed is so important.
This is a great point.
When you send crypto to a scammer, they don't just hold it in a static wallet.
No, they immediately start washing it. They use services called blockchain mixers or tumblers. They take your stolen Bitcoin, throw it into a massive digital pool with thousands of other transactions, shuffle it around thousands of times, and then spit it out into clean, untraceable wallets on the other side.
But if you report it fast enough, sometimes within the first few hours, law enforcement and the exchanges can occasionally freeze the initial accounts or wallets before the money is put through the mixers. That significantly improves the chances of actually recovering the stolen funds.
And this raises an important question, connecting back to the emotional toll we discussed with Ramesh. Because victims feel stupid, because they feel like they fell for something obvious in hindsight, they're overwhelmed by shame.
Yeah, the shame is huge.
They hide the scam from their spouses. They try to fix it themselves by taking out secret loans. And most damagingly, they delay reporting it to the authorities. They sit in silence for weeks.
Which is the worst thing you can do.
Exactly. I want to stress this. Overcoming that shame and reporting the crime immediately is the only mechanical way to freeze the scammer's accounts. Time is the enemy of recovery. The scammer actively counts on your shame to give them the time they need to launder the money and disappear.
Do not let shame buy the scammer time. That is an incredibly powerful takeaway.
Your shame is literally their getaway car.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's synthesize what we've unpacked today. We've traced the evolution of the scammer from the blunt force OTP thief to the suit-wearing, fake dashboard-operating corporate architect of scams 2.0.
It's been quite a journey.
We've explored the deeply manipulative psychological traps of Telegram groups, where fake crowds and social proofs completely override our individual skepticism. We've seen how buzzwords like artificial intelligence are used as modern magic spells to blind us to the complete lack of real technology. We've broken down the mathematical certainty of the Ponzi collapse, proving that the money isn't grown, it is simply stolen from the newest person in the room. And we've laid out the critical, actionable steps to take if you or someone you know is targeted, emphasizing that speed and evidence, not shame, are your best weapons.
It is a comprehensive anatomy of modern financial fraud, and it all circles back to the golden final rule. It is a rule that should be framed on the wall of anyone with a bank account or a smartphone. Guaranteed profit equals guaranteed fraud.
Yep.
If someone, anyone, promises you risk-free riches, a fixed crypto income, AI magic profits, or a scheme to double your money in a month, it is not an investment. It is a scam. Period.
Guaranteed profit equals guaranteed fraud. It's incredibly clear. You know, we spend so much time worrying that advanced technology, these massive AI language models, complex quantum computing, impenetrable blockchain algorithms, we worry that the technology itself will be the thing that eventually outsmarts us.
Like a sci-fi movie.
Right. We picture a Terminator scenario where the machines take over. But looking at the mechanics of these scams 2.0, looking at Ramesh's story, the technology is really just a shiny distraction.
It's just a prop.
Exactly. The scammers aren't actually hacking our computers. They don't need to. They are hacking our human desire for security. They are hacking our fear of missing out. And they are hacking our fundamental evolutionary willingness to trust a crowd. It really leaves you wondering, as we move deeper into this incredibly complex digital age, is our greatest vulnerability our hardware? Or is it simply our human nature? Something to mull over next time you see a promise that looks just a little too good to be true. Keep learning, stay skeptical, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.